Let's face it, organizations today are facing a lot of challenges. Also, your organization might be in a Red Queen's race. An environment where there is very fierce competition, where everybody is working very hard, but where it doesn't bring any competitive advantage. In this video, I will be sharing some tips and tricks on how inclusive leadership might help you in such an environment. So, what does inclusive leadership mean? Well, first of all, it means that as a leader, you need to be aware that just working harder will not get you anywhere. It's all about working differently. In an environment where disruptors may enter your market at any time, the tested and proved solutions of the past will not help you in the future. Leaders of today need to act like explorers. It's not as much about developing a long-term vision for the future, but more about looking as far as the horizon reaches and spotting all the dots and opportunities that you see on that horizon. It means daring to break through some of the barriers that currently exist within your organization. Breaking through the silos, putting on the hat of the company rather than that of your own department, and bringing, for example, customers in your decision-making processes. So, how can you make this happen? How can you as a leader contribute? It all starts by embracing diversity. Not diversity in the numbers, not diversity in the demographics, but really diversity in thinking. Because let's face it, every organization is diverse. Every organization is full of potential. But not many organizations succeed at fully tapping into all of that potential. An organization is at its weakest when everybody is thinking alike. Of course, just being diverse is not enough. If you don't embrace the differences in perspectives and allow for some dissent in your organization, the diversity may actually backfire, and a lot of the potential that you have may actually remain unexploited. This brings me to the third tip, a very small behavioral tip that may help you in embracing different opinions. Many leaders, when they hear innovative or divergent ideas, they respond relatively conservatively by saying, for example, "Yes, but this will not work in our market." Challenge yourself to replace every yes but by a yes and. You will be surprised about the level of creativity and energy it can bring to your organization. And be assured, if it was really not a good idea, you can still decide not to pursue it. But at least you will have considered all the arguments in favor of the idea. You will see that this yes and attitude will also improve your relationships with others and the level of collaboration. Relationships and collaboration are key in the economical markets today. And you may actually want to rethink the way you relate to your employees, but also the way you relate to customers and even to competitors. In the past, what worked best was a transactional style in relationships. I do something for you, and you do something for me. Pay it back. Adam Grant would call this a matching style. Today, however, we see that leaders that are most successful adopt a very different relational style. They give without necessarily expecting something in return in the short run. They expect that it might pay off in the long run. Of course, it's all about strategic giving. Because if you give and give and give, there might also be takers who exploit that, who take advantage of you. Inclusive leadership also involves that you encourage authenticity with others. Only when employees can bring their authentic selves to work, you will be able to tap into their full potential. It will not only create a better working environment, but also a more innovative one. For example, some of the very innovative medical breakthroughs, like a very baby-friendly incubator for early-born babies or diet sodas, would never have been possible if employees were not allowed to bring some of their very personal concerns to work. Of course, this means that you also need to set the example and to be authentic as well. Of course, being authentic does not mean that you should stop developing yourself. It's really about being yourself with more skill. One way to achieve that is via reverse coaching. What is reverse coaching? Well, in many companies, coaching is really something very traditional. A senior coaching a junior employee. But what does reverse coaching mean? It means that you as a senior leader let yourself be coached by a junior, let's say the new babies in your organization. Speak to some of your youngsters and they will learn you a lot. I have spoken, for example, to some people who were able to coach their own CEO at Microsoft and at MasterCard, and you would be surprised how enthusiastic they were. Not only were they able to help their CEOs with important decisions, but also did they have the feeling they could actually contribute to their personal development. One of them even gave the example of giving their CEO some advice on dressing. And that's in essence what it is about, giving purpose to people. Not only telling them what they should do, but also why they should do it. That said, it's also important to dare to ask the question, why not? Take Tesla as an example. If Tesla was like any other traditional company, when they would have developed this new technology that allowed them to store energy for their electric cars, but that also had a big potential for the energy market, they would have asked themselves the question, well, why should we enter a new market? Why not stay in the car industry? But they asked themselves the question, why not? Why not enter that energy market? And it brought new business opportunities. Of course, if leaders are becoming more like explorers, it can also create some uncertainty for people. Exploring is fun, but for some people it can also create anxiety. As a leader, you cannot ignore these emotions. They make an important part of the role. Dealing with anxieties and really giving people the best possible preparation for the journey that is ahead is really key.